Happy Wednesday, everyone, and welcome back to You Sticking With That? I'm Steffi K, and today we have a very special guest. I'm here today with my sister, Janine. We are together for a family wedding. Now, this isn't your typical sister story. We share the same dad, but we didn't grow up together. In fact, I didn't reconnect with my dad till I was 24 years old. My sister grew up knowing him, but chose to distance herself for many decades. Same father, 2 daughters, 2 completely different experiences. And that's what makes this conversation so interesting, because life isn't just about what happens to us, it's about how we experience it. Let's get into it.
Hey, Steffi K, got something to say. Talk that listens, clears the way. Truth on the mic, grounded in change. You sticking with that? Oh yeah, we sticking with that. Laugh it out, talk it through, we ain't looking back.
Some chats ain't easy, but we take it slow. Tough stuff tackle now, watch us grow.
You sticking with it? Yeah, we sticking with
Today, we're talking about all the things that nobody really hands you a manual for. We've walked different paths, we've made different choices, and learned many different lessons. But somewhere along the way, we've both collected a little wisdom. So join us as 2 sisters compare notes on life. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Let us give you a little background on our relationship and how that all got started. So when I was about 24 years old, my brother actually hired a private investigator to find our dad, who I hadn't seen since I was 3. And I mentioned a little bit about that in a prior episode. We found him in about 2 weeks, and he flew us out to see him and meet him. And we have also 2 other sisters and a brother. At that time, I was able to meet our other 2 sisters and their families. She was not able to make the trip. And then where do you come into the story?
So then, I think it was your next trip to California, we decided to meet, and we all met together with our children, your children, my children, our siblings, and their children. We all met together without our dad in the picture to get to know each other, and our friendship started there. Friendship and our relationship just bloomed.
And one thing about us, we're about 6 years apart. Our lives have kind of mirrored each other all the way along. We've kind of had similar things go throughout.
The similarities of our lives. We can point out tons of differences, but if we want to point out the similarities, it could be strength in character as a result of the shit. It could be divorces. And other similarities is maybe the way that we're raising our children to be very resilient.
And your mom has been such a blessing to me and welcomed me so strongly into your family. In fact, in March, I went to California to go to the bridal shower and stayed with your mom and our other sister, and you, and got to see everybody, and it was absolutely incredible. But let's talk about the strength of our moms and how that impacted us.
Yeah, my mom was incredibly resilient, strong, stood on her own 2 feet. I don't know if it was despite our dad or because of, I don't know. But, she pulled it off, and she is still that way, resilient and strong, still very loving through it all,
And times were different then, because we're talking about the late 60s, early 70s. And in the case of, your mom, a few years later, we came along. My mom came along, and the strength that it would take for her with that, us being here today and the situation we're in and the choices we made because of their strength and their resilience and how that was instilled in us.
Yeah.
And we had no choice. Yeah. There was no child support. There was no help. There was no person there. Having no money,
Right. Yeah.
And your mom had 4 kids and Michael's special needs.
Right.
And so that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah. I do think as hard as it was for my mom and for your mom, I think had he been in the household, had he stayed or whatever, I do think that it would have been 10 times worse.
Absolutely.
So as hard, that's not to say that, I mean, they worked hard. I mean, I'm just saying that it would have been even harder. So it was kind of a blessing in disguise that he chose to just keep going.
An interesting addition to our story is, was it 2 years ago when we found?
Yeah.
So 2 years ago, our brother Steve had received an email from Ancestry.com, and it was like, surprise, you have another brother. And so that was cool. And so
I'm waiting for another call.
yes, she has always said that. And so far we just have one, but we have welcomed him into our family, and we are in a sibling chat. And
So now we have 7 of us.
7 of us.
Yes.
Yes.
That we know of.
That we know of. And so that has been new and exciting as well. Mm-hmm. Yes. A new little thing. Yeah. Life's going to throw lemons at you. You know, life throws the doozies at you. And I think, you know, when you have a situation when your childhood wasn't exactly how you wanted, you can go 2 directions. And I think she and I have both been through the examples of our mothers, examples of, you got to just sometimes put on your big girl panties and deal with it, and you move on, because you have no choice. And in our case, then we got married, had children, and we wanted something different for our kids.
Right.
Did becoming a mother change how you viewed our dad?
No. Becoming a mother did not change how I viewed our dad.
Okay.
Did it for you?
No, but I definitely wanted my kids to have stability, consistency, a loving father, a loving situation, and it was important to provide that.
That was probably highest in the list of priorities when I was getting married or finding my husband, that I wanted all the stability that I didn't have, because I wanted him to provide that for me, but also for our future children. So that is true. But it didn't change how I viewed our dad, because it doesn't change him. I didn't think any differently of him. I didn't think of him much at all.
Yeah. As we know, a lot of kids that grow up in a abusive situation and whatnot, they continue the cycle. What would you say is a factor in how we didn't?
I don't think we were the cause of the cycle. So I think it was actually our moms that stopped the cycle by leaving or ending the relationship. Or maybe it was him leaving, whatever it was. I think it was actually our moms that stopped that cycle, the abusive part of it.
What's something that you understand about parenting now that you couldn't have understood as a child?
That we are all doing our best, given the good and the bad, right? And all of our issues. And after going through menopause, there was baggage that I didn't even know I had, it all kind of comes out, right? So I guess I realize my mom probably went through that at some point, and probably around my teen years. And I thought she was just, a little crazy, which now I know, because my daughters, I'm sure, think I was a little crazy, probably still do. But at the time, they wouldn't understand that. Yeah. And not until they go through it, and their hormones are all over the place, and we all having the hormones at the same time. Because I'm going through menopause, they're going through their teens. These female hormones are going crazy in the same household. That's not something I could have understood about my mom back then. I'm just like, Mom, why are you being this way? Now I see my daughters, I'm sure, viewed me the same way. We're all just doing the best we can.
Yes.
But the underlying is always the intention, which is that we love our kid, and our parents loved us, our moms loved us, and wanted the best for us, and tried to provide the best that she could, given the situation. And that we as kids probably didn't understand that. We probably felt like, yeah, but other kids have this stuff and that stuff, But looking at it now, of course, our moms really did the best they possibly could.
Absolutely.
Given the situations.
And depending on, every situation's different, but there is that level of forgiveness that has to come along the way, because...
That's our maturity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think it's good to get there. It's very freeing.
Once we can say, they're human too.
Yes.
Because not only that, but we also want that from our children, for them to someday be mature enough to see, that we're human too, right? and we're all doing our best. But underlying is always our intention is that we love them more than anything in the world. How to show it, how to raise them properly, how to make them the best human beings they can be. Sometimes we might not have the best tips and tricks, but we're all doing our best.
Any tips or of letting go, basically, and living in the moment that we could maybe give someone who's struggling right now?
I think, like you said, forgiveness. For if they're living in trauma, or maybe just again telling themselves it's not about them. It's sad to say, but it's not about the child. It's about the adult who's pouring on whatever pain they're living in, and then the kid or child or whatever, to forgive the adult in their life who caused pain, is freeing for the person, the child, right?
It's something we do for ourselves.
We do it for ourselves. Yeah, we may not ever, they could be gone. They could have, they may not be around at all, but just to forgive them, just to say, obviously that person had a lot of pain in their life, to pour that on to the next generation, to not forgive them for their sake, to forgive them for yourself.
How do we teach our kids forgiveness too?
I think maybe asking your child for forgiveness, but not for ourselves. Like, I hope you can forgive me so that you can move on in your life. It's not, I don't, if there's forgiveness, I'm not asking for forgiveness to benefit myself. It's to benefit them.
What did you want the girls to never have to wonder about?
One of the things I taught the girls is, there's a quote, I'm not going to get it right, but it's about the bird on the branch. That the bird never, and I'm going to mess this up, but the bird never relies on the branch. It's not afraid to rest on a branch, because if that branch is strong, well then wonderful. But if the branch breaks, the bird always has its own wings. So it shouldn't be afraid to rest or rely on a branch. Not totally rely, to rest on a branch, but never fully rely. Know that you have your own wings. Know that if that branch breaks or something happens, know you have your own wings. Those are yours. You were born with it. I think teaching both my daughters that, I think, has helped them just be strong in their relationships to, no matter whether it's a relationship with their dad or with boyfriends or other significant others, that they are themselves and they're going to be okay. That's something that I think was always really important for me to teach them. Going into the next phase of life for them as young adults, getting started on their own lives and someday having their own children, I think my role has switched now to support. Like, I'm here for them. I have been since they were born. It's just no longer about me. It's always been about them. And once they start having children, the same. I'm going to that's my goal. They're going to raise their children the way they want to raise them, just like I did. I raised mine the way I wanted to, regardless of what my mom, wanted. Not that we had any big problems, but I'm just saying, like, it's their life. It's their world now, and it's different. There's screen time and all the things, which is 10 times worse or more than when our kids were little.
Yes.
So they're going to have all new rules and things I don't understand. Can't eat this, don't take peanuts, anything with peanuts to school. All the things that we just didn't have to deal with when we had kids. So as grandparents, what am I going to do? I'm going to follow their lead. I'm going to say, you teach me what you want me to do, and I will just be there to do that, because they are the gateway to our relationship with our grandchildren. And I'll pay the toll, because that's the most important thing, to have that relationship with the grandkids, to have a good relationship with my kids, and continue our family. Let it keep growing and being a significant part of it.
All right, so let's talk about dating.
Okay.
What have you learned in the process after a long time marriage? How many years were you married?
24 years.
24 years. So what advice would you give someone who's just starting in the dating process?
I'm no expert. But I know I can only speak personally. When I meet someone, I'm going to trust my gut. I have been trusting my gut, good or bad. I just feel like the next person that's going to be a significant part of my life is going to be someone that I feel so comfortable with, and my girls have to feel comfortable with that person too. They've got to be interested in my life, which includes my girls and someday my grandkids, not just me. Like, I love that. That sounds wonderful. But that's my life. So they can't just be interested in me. They have to be interested in my life too, right? So there's that. And I would want to be, interested in theirs. Learn about their family and, not messing around. I don't have time for messing around. I'm not going to be messing around with these things.
No, absolutely not.
Not playing games.
No.
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 I did the app thing once. I think with the app thing, it felt so impersonal that even talking to a person, like, yeah, we're going to try to get to know each other, but it still felt very impersonal. Like, but then you could be talking to 5 other women, and I could be talking to 5 other guys. It didn't feel right. It didn't work for me. So I just, it's weird, but I just kind of feel like if there is a person out there for me, it's a friend of a friend. It's got to be a friend of a friend of a cousin, or a friend of a friend, because they will know them, and then they will speak for them for their character. They will know and then I would then be interested in getting to know that person. But someone just random, it's just, I don't care. I'm not. There's too many possibilities. Someone I know is going to have to know some history, and again, it could be a coworker of a friend or something. I don't know. That's just the way. But I know it's going to happen. I'm just not worried about that. I feel like at some point someone's going to come along, and it's just going to be like, oh, good. We can just relax and have a good time now.
And I think that is very calming and, again, freeing, because when you just trust, just trust that what's meant for you will find you.
Yeah, and I'm in no rush for it.
Yeah.
I mean, our moms are 80...
81, 82, 80.
Yeah, my mom's 86, right? And I'm just saying, like, that's a long time. Like, we have a long time from now to then, and they're still going strong. They're still doing good,
yes,
right? So
excellent, yes.
I'm in no rush to find where a person, life is good. And someone will come along at some point, and then we're going to have a really good time, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A family member mentioned to me this past week that at our age, now that we're older, we're not in our 20s anymore, that everyone has their issues and their baggage and their stuff, and that I was told that perhaps I should lower my standards because that's not possible anymore. What do you say to that?
No, I don't see that to be true at all. Like I said, I mean, let's say I hold out for somebody I really care about and love, and that takes 5 years. So what?
Yeah.
The last 20 years of my life or more, because my mom's still going strong. I mean, that's a long life, and that's going to be great. So, no, there's no reason, because there's no rush. If there were a rush, sure, you should compromise, because how are you going to find something like that so quickly? But if you're just doing you're working on all the things, and then eventually you're a good match for somebody. Someone's a good match for you. It all just works. There's no rush. I wouldn't compromise. Don't compromise.
I like it. We're moving on now. Yep. Okay.
And I think I already did say somewhere in there that when I met someone, or when I looked for a husband, that I needed to make sure that they had all the stability that I never had. I think I said that in there somewhere. So that was something I was determined to do differently. In that, I mean, when I met Mark and met his family, and they all lived like within blocks of each other and saw each other monthly or whatever, I was like, that's what I want.
Yep.
I want to be part of this little, that's just a long-lasting little community that family's not here, there, and everywhere. Like, that's why I need stability. And Mark had been living in the house that he was, I don't know if he was born there or they moved there when he was still an infant, but his the same house, and that was mind blowing to me because I had moved so many times in my childhood.
So much. Yep.
I sometimes say that I think I went to as many schools as grade levels. Not that we moved every single year, but sometimes we moved twice a year. You know what I mean? So it was a lot of moving, a lot of starting anew, new house, new friends, new school, new teachers, new environment, everything. So I mean, it's just like someday when I get married, man, it's going to be to someone who's been living in the same house their whole life, whatever. And I did that for Whitney and Brianna. I was determined. We are staying in the same house the whole time. Though about 10 years in, there was a moment when I thought maybe we should move, but I'm so glad we didn't. I'm so glad we stayed exactly there, and I'm glad that they graduated from they went from kindergarten to high school, to all the same friends, just all the same friends, all the way through, because that is something I wanted so badly for myself. I thought, all right, well, too late for me, but hey, if I can give them a gift, that's it, And I'm glad. I'm really glad. I think they are glad too about it.
One thing that's come up this year especially is traditions. So there are so many things the things that we did do as a child, that I did get to do as a child, more or less probably holidays and the family togetherness and things like that, certain meals. I know your mom makes amazing meatballs. Was that Grandma Nanette's recipe?
It was.
Yep. And so Carter, of course, he talked about that this weekend, actually, about the meatballs and how when your mom made them for him, he still remembers that.
Wow.
And I don't even know how old he was. Yes. It's a very special memory for him. And what a full circle, amazing thing to be able to share with the kids. Would you say it's harder raising the kids or letting them go?
It was harder raising the kids because I had some growing up to do while I was raising them. So that was difficult. It was a lot of work, not just emotionally, but a lot of work to raise kids. Letting them go is something I prepared for because, like my mom always used to tell me, like she used to say, your children are not your own. They're on loan from God. They're little souls. You are giving birth to them, but it's your job to raise them to be, you're not raising a child, you're raising an adult. You're raising them to be an adult, right? So with that, my goal was to make sure that they were strong and independent enough to move on. So when they did that, I was just like, yeah, that's exactly what you were supposed to do, right? Mm-hmm. So that part was easier. But I haven't had to fully let them go emotionally because they're still very connected, Mm-hmm. But yeah, when I went off to college, of course, I missed them like crazy.
Well, and I'm finding in my situation that I've grown so much in the last few years, but because I've kind of been on a personal journey and done a lot of that on my own independently, they're not aware of it. And so it's almost like, once they leave the house too, they're changing and they're growing. And I'm trying to relearn them.
You're creating an adult relationship with them. It's not a friendship. It kind of is, but it's an adult relationship coming from the parent-child relationship.
Yes.
Yeah.
And yet I've changed too.
Yeah.
And I've grown too. And it's just that realization and trying to tie that all together and build something almost new.
Yeah.
And healthy in a different way.
Yeah.
And I'm finding that to be a challenge and kind of at the forefront for me right now.
Yeah.
I had the chance to spend the weekend with my youngest son this past weekend, and it was amazing. And it's so nice to have that ribbing, like, we do a lot of teasing in our family. We're very competitive. And like we were playing cornhole at a ice cream shop, and what was just going to be just a casual game ended up in, a lot of smack talk, which I try not to do so much anymore, but I did teach him that. And so he was totally smack talking me. So then I had to step my game up. I didn't want to miss. I mean, I haven't, thrown the beanbags for a while, but I wanted to make sure that I was at least, staying respectable in this little, spontaneous game of cornhole. Yeah. And to anyone that would have come across it, they would have thought it was ridiculous, but it was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Sometimes we just have to accept things aren't the way we thought they'd be, but they can be better. And they can be different, and it's okay. It's okay.
Sometimes traditions that we had going on, if they're not as important to them, some of them, not all, because some of them are important to stick. Some stick, some don't. And the ones that don't, maybe they don't, but maybe there's something else they're doing that we may or may not be aware of that's going to be a new tradition for them, right? So some traditions will stick, some will fade away, new ones will be created.
What's something that you gained from divorce that nobody talks about?
Something gained from divorce, for me anyway, was, when after the divorce, I thought I was going to feel relief, because it had been a long time coming. And then instead, I didn't feel that at all. I didn't feel relief. I didn't feel happiness. I felt like, well, dang, that's sad, and what was weird is, emotionally for me, I was a little bit numb, a little bit, almost like a little bit, like a clean slate almost, but not in a good way, It's a little numb, like I don't particularly feel excited or happy about that, but not particularly sad. It was just kind of this weird thing, and then rebuilding from that, because it's a humbling. So it's a definite humbling. You think, oh, I'm going to come out of this strong, or I'm going to come out of this whatever. Realistically, that's just not it. You go through, a thing, and then you got to kind of build yourself back up. And as you're building yourself back up again, you're creating a new human to some degree.
Yes.
You're creating new, like, I don't feel that way about that anymore, and now I start to feel this way about that. You change. You definitely change. Even though some people say, oh no, that was good and goodbye.
It's not that easy.
No. You it's a humbling. It's definitely, if that's the right word. To me, it was like wiping a slate clean and going, well, shoot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now I got to rebuild, not just, and you got to rebuild all kind of things, but who you are inside, it does have to come to, there's a reckoning, and you deal and you rebuild it. But there's a strength that comes with that, it too. So.
Absolutely. And I think having girls, they're watching.
Oh, absolutely.
I think the best reason to pick yourself up off the floor, wherever you are, and keep going and to move forward and grow and learn is them.
It's not defeat. It's not defeat. It's you have to take responsibility for your part in a failed relationship, right? And so you have to come to terms with, what was my responsibility in that? What didn't I see while I was in the thick of it? Now that I'm outside of it, oh, well, shoot, maybe I could have done this differently. Not to repair it or to fix it or to go back or anything like that, but maybe in my next relationship I could be a little more this or a little more that, or a little less this or a little less that. But overall, that's what I mean by, like, you're rebuilding. It's an interesting thing. You're just kind of rebuilding yourself. Next time I'm going to do it differently, and this is how I'm going to do it differently. But never a defeat, because again, when you have your children watching, especially girls, you're showing them, just like our moms showed us, that, hey, I'm not defeated here. I'm not gone.
No.
I'm still here. I'm a human being. I'm strong and resilient, and I'm going to bounce back, but I'm going to bounce back a little differently.
Yes.
And I'll still love you and hope you still love me, but we'll be good.
Yep. Yep. It is different, and different is okay.
Oh, yeah.
And change is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
As you would expect from anybody going through a life change.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so what's one thing you had to relearn about yourself?
Having the boundaries now that I didn't have before. So like I took a job soon after the divorce, and I had a male supervisor. And, there were, sometimes he would talk to me in a particular way, and I was like, I'm not having it. I'm not having it. I'm not having this, And I remember he was telling somebody, well, Janine acts like she's whatever. And I said, no. And I had to go, and I had to face this supervisor and say, I'm sorry to give you that impression. I'm trying to give that impression. I'm hearing you, and I'm going to do whatever. Something inside of me felt like, if I were going to tolerate this from somebody, I could have stayed in my marriage. I've given up too much to tolerate being spoken to in this way by anyone. So I'm different now. You know, I don't. I can no longer. I'm no longer going to be able to tolerate somebody crossing my boundaries because I've given up too much. I gave up a whole life.
Yeah.
A life of security, my home. You know, I gave up too much. I'm not going to now tolerate it from some supervisor. You know.
Yep.
So I did learn that about myself, and I like that about myself now. So that's a good. Sad it had to come to all that. You know, all that had to happen for me to have better boundaries and better communication. But it is what it is.
I forgot how strong I was.
Yeah.
And I think for me, just having just me, myself, and I am not putting up with any nonsense anymore. Like
Yeah.
I remember who I am, and it's an amazing feeling, really, truly amazing. And had I not gone through the divorce and a few other things that followed, I wouldn't be sitting here today and even be able to probably do the podcast. You know, all these things, eventually things make sense and you kind of realize things happen for a reason, or things which when you're going through it, you don't want to hear that. But there's a reason, but we can't always see it at the time. I love who I am actually, and who I'm becoming more every day, and the direction I'm going. And I'm proud of it, proud of myself, proud of you. And it's nice to be able to recognize when other women are doing the same type of thing and empowering themselves.
I do think it's when you fully own and realize that you are standing on your own 2 feet again,
Yes.
just your own 2 feet. Where when you're married, you're in a couple or partnership, you're relying on each other for different things. But then when you truly have to stand on only just your own 2 feet, that's it. You don't get to rely on anybody for anything, and no one's relying on you really either. So that's it. It's a kind of cool thing to amaze yourself.
Yes.
That dang, I could do that. I forgot I could do that, or I haven't had to do that in so long, and it's empowering. It's wonderful. It's a great feeling.
And I can do this now, so what else can I do? Like, what am I going to do
True.
next? I'm going to push myself. And there's things that you and I have said even the last couple days. Like I've said, I would never have done that before. So I'm going to do that.
You do that all the time.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a great thing.
Because I know I wouldn't have. I just wouldn't have even thought of it, or no interest. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. I threw a football through, I was trying to throw a football through a ring in the pool with the girls everybody yesterday.
Hula hoop in the pool. Yeah. I got you.
I wouldn't have even been in the pool. I wouldn't have, and I thought, this is awesome. Was I even close? Probably not so much, but that wasn't really even the point,
fun.
Yeah, it was fun. And there's more things coming up,
Yeah.
Even today.
And it's inspiring because I'm not as adventurous as you, but I love it. I love being around you because you inspire me. You inspire me to say yes to things I usually shy away from. So that's awesome. I know that I was dating somebody a while back, and my daughter said, what did she say? Like, I don't think it's good for you to be with someone who like dims your sparkle or something
yeah.
to that.
Wow,
And I thought, dang, coming from my daughter, I thought, okay, 100%, I hear you. And I wouldn't want her to view me in that way. I wouldn't want someone to do that, for her to do that, with someone or whatever. And I said, enough said, but also it kind of made me feel like, okay, so you think I got sparkle? I'm good with that.
That's right. Okay,
And that's what
watch
I think
me
about
shine.
you. I think you have so much sparkle, like
thank
so
you.
much fun.
Yeah.
Being around you is like, it's uplifting every time.
That warms my heart.
Yeah.
I love that. We hope you've enjoyed our little sister chat today. As always, if you thought of a friend or anyone who can benefit from some of the things that we talked about today, please pass it on. Our new episodes come out every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, and we are on all major social media platforms. I'd like to thank my sister for being here today. It has been incredible.
Thank you for having me.
What's one thing you used to believe that you're not sticking with anymore?
I used to believe that I had to compromise my boundaries a little bit to get along. And I don't believe that anymore. I'm good. I've got my boundaries and I'm good with them. And, it's you got one life. Like, this is it. And I respect other people's boundaries, so why shouldn't they respect mine? Like, we're good, You just don't have to tolerate that anymore.
Yeah.
So it's good.
Well, we hope you have an amazing week. We are off to water dance class. Have a great one, everyone.
Ooh.